Second, that's going to be loud enough?
So, you know, when we actually saw the your Knappsack video, you had Knappsack.
Yes. I had my knapsack.
And then you have, you know, your left hand, you have that, you know, like a support.
Yeah, that's all healed. You can see in the video, I have a little video of the operation when they went in, and it was the wildest thing because they just cut here, and they go in and they find the tendon, and they have to sort of cut the tube that the tendon runs along to free it because it was jammed. And it was pretty wild, but I was wrapped up for that. That hurt, you know, when I was playing, but it was all right.
So when actually you took all the Knappsack and then that, you know, the supporter, when was it?
Well, what happened was on December 28th, I went in for the shoulder surgery. So I had to wear the knapsack, which is just like a sling, for 4 weeks. And the doctor that did my shoulder surgery, his name was Dr. Knapp. Knapp, and he invented the knapsack. So while I was wearing it, like after the first week, I mean, I couldn't play, you know, and I got the new black Pia, and I just picked it up, and it's such a beautiful instrument, you know, it's stunning, and I just wanted to play it, you know. So I just started playing with one hand. It's not a big mystery. Because if you're a legato type player with distortion and stuff, you know, you can. It's not that difficult, you know. So I started to. The difficult thing is dampening it. I don't like to use the dampening very often, but a couple of riffs I had to use it, and I take a little piece of tissue. This is from like when you clean your glasses, you know, and I roll it up to a little ball, or sort of like that, and then you put it under the strings. Kind of, you got to get it at the right consistency, you know, and then you have to retune a little bit too, because it pushes the strings up, but it doesn't kill them completely. But I don't like having those big dampeners, you know, and plus, you know, I use open strings sometimes. So with this, you can still get a lot done. You know, it'll take some of the resonance of the strings off, but it's not like some of the dampers that some people use. So I just started playing around with the, you know, I actually, when I started to record it, I had the knapsack on and I had the guitar, and I knew that I could do it because you know these things, you know. So I just plugged in and I had a click track, and I just started to kind of like work it out, you know, and then filmed it and then built the track, you know. So the track came later. Yeah, because I had to do everything myself, and I couldn't really do the bass until later when I could move my hand, you know. So, but that first riff, the opening riff, is pretty simple. It's kind of a nice groove riff. See, that's the thing a lot of people miss, is the nuances. Or actually, that gives it that. And this riff here, it's something it's kind of unique to me. It's where you, and then when you slide down, you pick a finger that's above this finger, so and then so you get that kind of thing. Nothing else will sound that way. It's much different than going, you know. It's cool, you know, and I use that throughout the whole song. It's just a different sound. You know, it's much different than going. So you get that extra, and then this is a little tricky because the harmonic riff there. Because yeah, I mean, obviously, I would normally go or but I can't. I only had one hand, so any means necessary. You gotta get it done any means necessary. I will mention something that I think is very important for guitar players. And this was something that I learned later. You really have to stretch your fingers out. It helps before you play a lot. And one of the best ways to stretch is by doing this. You know, you kind of pull these two fingers apart, not so hard, and you don't bounce it. You just hold it and slowly you push a little more, so you stretch it. And then you do it with these two, you know. And you don't push so hard that you hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself. And then you do it with these fingers, probably about 15 seconds each, you know. And then this here. And this is, you got to be careful with this, but this is the best exercise because to prevent what happened to me, to prevent carpal tunnel, which is a huge problem for musicians, because you feel it. The tendon goes all the way up your wrist here, right? And you can feel it. And you can't do it hard. You do it easy, and you don't bounce it, but you just hold it, and you'd be surprised how much it'll actually slowly start to stretch. And you do it with this finger, you do it with this, you know, about 15 seconds or so, and then this. So this is really good hand health. Most of the time I sit and I play like this, right? So you see how my shoulder is like, it hurts right now just doing that. This is not natural, I don't think. And this is how I grew up, you know? So I think that was because doing this started to hurt a real lot. And then whenever I can, well, I have to. I can't really do that much anymore. After a minute, it's really painful. I think when you're a young guitar player and you're learning, there's a couple of things that they don't teach you that would be very helpful to know. Mm. And one of them is your posture. It's really important to keep, I mean, I was always like this, you know, and as a result, I had to get neck surgery and back surgery, you know, because I grew up like this, you know, like from the time I was 13, and you grow into that. You know, and once I got those surgeries, I started to straighten out. It takes focus to keep your posture, but it's worth it. It's a reflection of your self-esteem too. Walking around with your shoulders back, standing straight, it's an attribute of being present. You know, so it's very helpful. And you know, I used to walk around like this because I thought it was cool. You know, the other thing that I would recommend to save your hands is you don't have to play hard. I mean, I know Yngwie is a very big, very famous with the fans in Japan. He's a good friend of mine. I watch him play. I play with him. You know, with Generation X. The touch is very, very light, you know, and it's the same. You don't need to push very hard. You can't, if you're pushing hard, it's going to slow you down. You have to be really light and easy on your hands, you know. You got to relax your hands when you play. You'll play easier, you'll play faster, you'll play more accurately, and you won't hurt your hands. Because that's what, you know, does it. It's like, you know, playing too hard is what creates the tension in here.
And then don't try the difficult chord, weird chord.
Don't try the Vi chord. And if you do, don't blame me.
So, you know, like, what's advice to the, you know, other guitar players about how to play light, relaxed?
Well, you have to relax and breathe. You know, remember those two words all the time. You know, when you're performing, when you're practicing, you relax and breathe. We hold a lot of tension in our hands, you know, because we're trying to figure stuff. We don't realize. We do not realize how much tension we hold. So, just as important as practicing whatever it is you want to achieve, you have to practice relaxing and breathing. You know, this helps you on stage tremendously. That's all I think about. Everything flows when you create a space for it, when you relax and breathe. Even playing intensely requires a in control relaxation. You can't play aggressively and wildly and even move unless you're incredibly relaxed. When you watch an accomplished Olympic figure skater, there's no tension. The real beauty is in owning the movement, and the movement is owned only when you relax. You have to relax your inner body. You have to take your attention, take it out of your head in all the thoughts. What am I going to play? Am I playing the right notes? Does it sound good enough? What does everybody think? You know, all the thoughts that go on in your head, and actually put your attention in your inner body and relax it. It's very pleasant. And it's the only way that you'll find that dimension within yourself where all the good stuff comes from. It's the only way. That one little bit was you hold the harmonic with this finger, but it comes out different every time. Well, I was using the index finger on the harmonics, and then the pinky to grab it with this hand. Well, the conventional thing to do is, you know, but by doing it with the first finger and then you get that so it doesn't sound like anything else, you know. So it's basically so it's first finger on the B string on the 10th fret, and then a fast grace note down to 5th position. There's this color that was developed called Vanta Black, and it is so dark, there's something that they do with it that it actually looks like a hole. like a black hole. And we wanted to use that because it's unbelievable. It's just very odd looking, But there's a copyright on it. And when we looked into doing it, we were surprised to find out how many people had approached this company to use that color for a guitar. So we couldn't use it. But it had such an effect that we started experimenting with trying to get, because this isn't just regular black, I don't really know the process that Hoshino Ibanez developed to get this kind of black, but it's not your conventional black, This is why this guitar has such a rich, dark flavor to it. So I'm so lucky because I get to work with Ibanez, and they're always interested and excited on new things to do with guitars and colors and different, different finishes and whatnot. So we had the Pia, which was new, and we're always experimenting with colors, but when this one came along and we finally came to this color, it was like, wow, there's something about that. And then with the gold hardware, these pickups were designed by Mike Mesker, who's an incredible illustrator and designer, and a good friend of mine. He does a lot of my artwork through the years. And then he worked with DiMarzio to cut them out. But the mixture of the gold and the black was a really nice... Yes, the things that we did that were different than the conventional gem. One of the things that I have on all my guitars, my gems and everything, is a pull switch. And what this does when you pull this is it kicks in a capacitor that rolls off the bottom end as you bring your volume down. Because if you notice, it's not very... It takes some of the bottom out so that the notes in the chord are more sparkly. So it's woollier, so that's nice. And we decided to put that in the production guitars. Another thing that's different is the gem is very angular. It's got a very smooth, sexy kind of a shape, but the edges are very angular. They're hard, with the Pia, we made it more like Pia. It's just a little more rounder, softer. This here is a little softer, and some of these areas here they're just rounded a bit, and here, and especially here. And then one of the other things we did was I could never understand why you have to use tools to put things on and off. So we put a magnet in the background here, because I'm always going in here and fooling with the springs or something, and that makes it so much easier. Come on. But other than that, it's pretty much like a gem. Occasionally there's people who are such fans of the guitar. They love the guitar, and they love these guitars, the Pias, the gems, and they're always trying to push the envelope, do something interesting. And I see them. Sometimes they send these things to me. They send me pictures. And this one guy, David Bonnevilian, he started experimenting, and he's just like a businessman, that just loves guitars. And he started experimenting with these different ways of dipping. And this was one of the dips that he did. And I just thought it was extraordinary. But thought I'd show you.
Last question is your looks changed.
Yeah, that happens too. Well, change is inevitable, you know. It's funny, every time I look in the mirror, I think, they don't make mirrors the way they used to. No, it's funny because as you get older, you start to see things start melting. Your face kind of starts melting, you know. And that's fine. It comes with the territory. But, you know, I like trying to look as good as I can without trying too hard. You know, like I've never had plastic surgery or anything like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's what you want. But, you know, like my hair started going gray in my 30s. You know, I wasn't going to let that happen. So I dye it. Who cares? You know, that doesn't matter to me at all. I never grew a beard. And one of the things that a lot of men were doing in lockdown was growing beards, right? So I thought, hey, what the heck? So I let it grow, and it actually got pretty big, and it's gray. So I actually looked like 85 years old, you know, and my wife wasn't crazy about it either. So I trimmed it, but yeah, since I had never grown facial hair, the moment I did, people were, you know, like, well, that's a totally different look, but it's just a beard, you know. It's fun to change. You know, it's interesting. I was looking back at all these photos, a lot of the ones that we took together, and just all from my career, and I looked very different. You know, like sometimes I had long, when I was younger, my hair, when you're young, your hair is much more bountiful and robust and shiny, and I had those little banana curls, you know. And then it's like, you know, and then it's all sorts of different looks, and I like that. It's part of being a performer. It's funny, I was watching a video of a guitar player the other day. He was a pretty famous guitar player. And he was kind of coming down on people that, like, oh, he was referring to me, obviously, using a fan on stage to blow my hair back, you know? And, you know, the reason I do that is because I don't like being hot on stage. It's very uncomfortable, and it gets sticky, and my hair falls in my face, and I don't like that. So the fan blows it back. But what I tell people is the only reason I have the fan is because it looks cool. Because I can. And I'm a performer, and I love looking cool. I try to look as cool as I can. And a fan is a great way to not only be cool, but look cool. Because I've always wanted it all. You know, because there's this weird thing in people's head that if you're trying to act like a rock star, that it's all, you know, by wearing certain clothes or doing certain things with your hair or wearing makeup or whatever, that you're talentless. You don't have any talent. You know, it's an excuse for talent. In some cases, that might be the case, you know, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is what you want to do. Some people, they just want to know how to play some chords so they can support an outfit that they want to wear, you know? And who is to say that there's anything wrong with that? And other people might feel like they just want to play, and they got all their arpeggios down, and they got all their chord changes, and they don't want to do any, they go out of their way to be plain. You know, no pomp, no anything. And that's fine too, if that's what you want to do, you know. I always wanted it all. You know, I try to be the best performer and the best player, because that's what I want. I want to be a great performer, and I want to be a great player. That's it. There is a unique side to you that has your authentic personality in it. And that personality is unique to you, and it's fabulous, and it's wonderful. Don't be afraid of it. Be friendly with it. Be happy with it. Show it, because if you don't, you'll be unhappy.